What up, crypto fam? It's Phantom, taking another look at the market. Today's Saturday. It's 9:06 p.m. March 26th. We're gonna take a look at the markets. The market's been doing well, even over the weekend. A lot of people thought they would see some more bleeding in the market on Saturday and Sunday, but Bitcoin continues its slow but steady push towards 45K again, which the 45, 46K levels are strong levels for us to flip into support. If we can flip those levels into support, we're looking very strong for the rest of this push to the next large resistance levels. That said, a lot of the altcoins are starting to show their decent setups. They're all starting to kind of follow the trend of Bitcoin, which is critically important, at this time. So there's definitely a lot of money coming into the market, which is great news. The Fear and Greed Index, I haven't refreshed it yet. Looks like we're at 49 for today. Yeah, we're at 49, so we've taken a couple steps back. I think more because people think that we were going to bleed some over the weekend. We're still in neutral territory. Bitcoin's still looking strong. We have been chilling and vibing right in the 44K region, which is a really healthy area to be in. So I'm perfectly okay with us consolidating and creating strong support levels around this level before we make our next continuation move upward. I was looking around at some altcoins today. I saw one that caught my eye, VeChain, which is one that I've invested in before. I've kind of sold a lot of my position in the last bull cycle, but I'll be keeping my eye on this. This is a daily chart, and on the daily chart, we almost have half of yesterday's volume in the first hour of this candle opening. So there is a ton of volume coming in right now. So either someone knows something we don't, or VeChain is just getting a ton of action right now. Either way, when these strong volume candles tend to come in early in the game, I tend to keep a close eye on them because they generally end up pumping later today, early tomorrow, into tomorrow night. It's really hard to time, but if you take a look at, I think Zilliqa is a good example. This is the candle a few days ago, and the candle yesterday started really, really, really strong, and it had a heck of a day today. So I'm thinking there's going to be something. I don't know if it'll be quite this drastic, but I'll be watching VeChain closely. With this amount of volume coming into it, I think it's a mistake to just fade and not keep it close on the watch list. So I'll be setting up some alerts at interesting levels, which I think we're getting to right now. Looks like we tried to break this resistance zone at 6.7 cents. It made its first attempt through it. It may take a couple whacks at it before it breaks through. But after that, there doesn't seem to be a lot of strong resistance until it gets up to the 7.5 cents region. So I think there's some good upside potential in VeChain, and the volume's coming in hot. So this is definitely one I'll be watching. I promised that I would start giving some altcoin indications as I see them. Obviously not financial advice, but things like this crop up, and I find them really interesting. Add them to the watch list, add some alerts to see if they break key levels, and if they do with conviction, that's something I'd consider hopping in and a quick turnaround, quick 10%, 20% gain, and call it done. So I'll be for sure watching this. We'll go back to the weekly chart. Bitcoin's still looking strong. There's nothing really that I see that's making this look any type of bearish at the moment until the volume starts to really kind of lower and we get some decent pullbacks. I think the vibing in a range is going to be extremely healthy and extremely bullish for us long term for this bull cycle. So yeah, I'm perfectly happy and content staying in this region. As far as the news articles that I found over the course of the day, there were 8 members of Congress that asked a series of 13 detailed questions about document requests the SEC has made of cryptocurrency industry participants, the number of questions in them, and how much time companies were given to respond to them. They also asked what the expected compliance costs were to respond to those requests. So this is kind of something we brought up on the channel the other day, where a lot of these companies are trying to follow all the rules, trying to follow the regulation rule sets that are getting put in place, but they're not getting the responses they needed. They're not getting any help from the people that are going to authorize the movement of crypto being adopted and, passing all of its regulation hurdles in order to continue doing business. So it looks like some members of Congress are really pushing back on the SEC to make sure that doesn't continue to happen and it doesn't slow the progress. Crypto startups must not be weighed down by extrajudicial and burdensome reporting requirements. We will ensure our regulators do not kill American innovation and opportunities. This is extremely strong language. It's language that we've used on the channel, that if regulation isn't obtainable here, where it's just an impossible feat to achieve, innovation will happen in other parts of the world. It will leave the United States and the innovation will occur somewhere else. So the fact that they're recognizing that and pushing on the SEC because of it, this is really big news. This is what we want to see from government. This is what we want to see, our representatives representing our beliefs on cryptocurrency and ensuring that innovation does continue to happen here, that we have proper regulation in place, but fair regulation. We should be held to the same type of standards that any other type of innovation would be held to. So I was really, really, really excited to read this. I'll be watching it closely to see what the SEC responds with. But I found this very, very bullish. I flagged it for today to bring up on the channel. The other news article I found interesting, Kathy Wood. If you don't know Kathy, many refer to her as Aunt Kathy. She was enormous in investing in Tesla before it had its huge growth. She is big into, I believe, a battery company called Neo. They may just do vehicles, but she's large in tech, and she has her pulse on what successful tech is going to look like in the near future. So she's able to get into these companies pretty early, and her reputation is that her reputation is one that she gets in early and tends to do well investing in these tech companies before they really have their day. So she's been very bullish on Bitcoin, which has been great for our space. And on Friday, she announced that she's now exposed and picked up some Coinbase stock. $30 million worth of Coinbase stock, since Coinbase had pretty substantial pullback since its opening. So she's been loading up on Coinbase, which means she has trust in the exchanges and their future. On the channel here, we're definitely for cryptocurrency and for innovation. Not so happy with exchanges as a whole, but investing in them isn't necessarily an awful idea because they are educating. They may hold keys to wallets and work with the government closely in turning in its users' information, but they are educating as well. So it's a double-edged sword when it comes to exchanges in my eyes. That said, Kathy getting more into the crypto game, putting more skin in the game, is enormous for our space. She is someone that really has her pulse on technology, is really able to see the great technological innovations before they really hit mainstream. So the fact that she has her eyes on this it's a big deal. And we'll go back to the Bitcoin chart. We're really pushing 45K. I think we'll get there. It may be tonight, maybe tomorrow. Likely. It's going to depend on how. I think it's going to have some dependency on the S&P also opening strong. I think if the S&P opens strong, Bitcoin, has another pump early next week. I'm hopeful. I think towards the end of next week, we may start seeing some pullback. And I think that's going to be healthy. I think we're going to start seeing pullback once we get up to this resistance zone. That said, pullbacks are healthy in a market. We can't continue to just keep going up without getting some type of resistance level and knocked down a little bit. So the longer we stay in this area and consolidate and build strong support levels, the better we're going to be when we try to take on this resistance. If we do have a pullback, then we have strong support structure in place in order to continue our progression upward. So right now I'm very, very excited about what Bitcoin is going to do this week. Like I said, I think towards the end of the week we may see some pullback as we creep up on this larger resistance block, weekly resistance block. That said, I am now starting to keep a close eye on some altcoin setups to see when volume starts coming into these suckers. When, for example, like the VeChain volume that I spoke of, it looks like we've already pumped some more. We're almost up to 7 cents. We're over halfway's. We're just about. Yeah, we're at halfway's volume yesterday, and we're only an hour and 20 minutes into the candle. So I'll probably drop some money. Obviously not financial advice, but I'll probably throw some money into this and see what it does over the next day or so. I'll be watching closely. Obviously tight stop losses because Bitcoin's right at the 45K resistance, and it's really hard to start dropping some money in these altcoins when Bitcoin's coming up to resistance levels, because when it does hit those resistance levels, it's going to pull down and the altcoins are going to rip back even harder. So definitely keep your stop losses tight, but with this amount of volume, I'm interested. I'll just, be watching it very closely, throw in an amount that I'm more than willing to lose. I'm not going to be betting the farm on something like this. That said, I think it's starting to get to be an exciting time in the crypto space. So, looking forward to what the week has to offer. I hope I'm not going to keep rambling on. Until Bitcoin really breaks 45, 46K with some conviction. I think we just focus on the news, focus on moves like this altcoin having, a big pump in volume in a day. Make some quick trades, make some quick gains while the market's doing its thing before we really start loading in upon confirmation of Bitcoin moving into the bullish cycle. So I hope this is helpful. If it is helpful, please consider following, subscribing, leaving comments. I'm more than happy to look at any type of altcoins or any type of news story that may be interest to you. I'm just starting the streaming, so getting some type of following is hard to get started, but I do appreciate anybody that does follow the channel and finds this information interesting. I'm going to continue doing it, and I hope that you have a great rest of your Saturday. I hope you have an even better Sunday, and until then, catch you in the next video. Peace.